Social media cyberbullying. On December 5, 2017, 23-year-old Mercedes Grabowski, known professionally as August Ames, was found hanging from a tree in a public park in Camarillo, California. The Canadian actress had been active on social media just hours earlier, posting what would become her final tweets. The park was located approximately 20 minutes from her home. The incident began the previous day when Ames posted a controversial tweet declining to work with a performer who had appeared in crossover content. She cited safety concerns, writing that most actresses in her position avoided such scenes for health reasons. The response was immediate and brutal. Industry performers piled on, accusing her of homophobia. The backlash escalated throughout the day. At 4 a.m. on December 5th, Ames posted a defiant response to her critics. The tweet read simply, "F y'all." Online harassers, including performer Jackson Wheeler, responded with increasingly hostile comments. Later that same day, a passerby discovered her body in the Camarillo Park. First responders arrived and recovered her from the tree. The coroner confirmed death by self-inflicted harm through hanging. Toxicology results revealed cocaine, marijuana, sertraline, and alprazolam in her system. Her husband, Kevin Moore, later launched the August Project, a mental health initiative addressing industry mental illness and self-harm prevention. Pennsylvania bondage murder. On February 29, 2004, 23-year-old Natel King, performing under the name Taylor Summers, arrived at a Hampton Inn in White Marsh Township, Pennsylvania, for what she believed was a legitimate photo shoot. The Canadian actress entered the basement apartment of photographer Anthony Frederick, 46, adjacent to the hotel property. She would never leave alive. Frederick stabbed King multiple times in the chest, neck, and hands. The defensive wounds on her hands showed she fought desperately against her attacker. He disposed of her body in a ravine near the Schuylkill River, where it remained for nearly a month. On March 23rd, authorities discovered the decomposed body, naked in the ravine, still wearing leather bondage restraints on the wrists and ankles. Police searched Frederick's home and vehicle, uncovering damning evidence. They found a camera bag containing a contract specifically labeled snuff vid. DNA evidence from blood-stained items in Frederick's car and apartment matched both the perpetrator and victim. The restraints still attached to King's body, including a ball gag, indicated she was bound during the murder. Frederick was arrested and charged with first and third-degree murder. His assistant, Janet Mitkiss, 29, faced charges of falsification of records and hindering apprehension. Frederick later pleaded guilty to murder. 19-day marriage. On August 2, 2007, 25-year-old Miriam Irene Haley, known professionally as Haley Page, married Chico Wang in a rapid, secret ceremony. Wang, 35, was a director in the adult entertainment industry who went by the nickname Wanker and the legal name Inkyo Volt Huang. The marriage would last exactly 19 days. On August 21st, Haley was found dead in King City, California. Police immediately focused their investigation on Wang, issuing a statement that he was implicated in her death. The coroner classified the circumstances as suspicious. Toxicology revealed only minimal methadone in her system, and the actual cause of death remained unclear. Despite the police implication, no charges were filed against Wang. Wang's behavior following Haley's death raised further questions. He constructed a shrine dedicated to her near their home. On September 29th, 39 days after Haley's death, Wang was found dead by apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound near the shrine he had built. The proximity of the deaths and the shrine construction suggested either guilt consciousness or profound grief. The investigation remained incomplete when Wang died, leaving the circumstances of both deaths officially undetermined and questions about Wang's role forever unanswered. Skid Row brain death. On Sunday night, March 3, 2019, 19-year-old Jasmine Dominguez, performing as Violet Rain, went to Nightingale Plaza nightclub in North Hollywood with her roommate Allie Nicole. Rain, an Arizona native, used a fake ID provided by a club promoter named Eddie. The night seemed ordinary until closing time approached around 4 a.m. Monday morning. Eddie invited the group to an after-party. Allie declined and went home, but Rain left with Eddie, several YouTubers, and SoundCloud rappers. The location of this after-party was never determined. Rain surfaced Monday afternoon to change clothes at her apartment and texted Allie requesting a skirt via Uber, but the ride canceled. Then Eddie made a suspicious phone call to Allie asking, "Is Violet okay?" Days passed with Rain missing. Police eventually found Rain unconscious and seizing on a street. Eddie claimed he discovered her naked in the road and carried her into the emergency room at Adventist Health White Memorial Hospital in East Los Angeles. She arrived pulseless and not breathing, with vomitus in her mouth. Hospital staff admitted her as Jane Doe because her identity was initially unknown. Rain seized continuously for over 14 hours in the intensive care unit, suffering head abrasions and lacerations from the convulsions. Urine screening showed cocaine and alcohol. On March 13th at 5:44 p.m., Dr. Brooks pronounced her brain dead. At 8:13 p.m., Dr. Liu made a second pronouncement per standard protocol. The manner of death was officially classified as undetermined. Corvette crash tragedy. On July 11, 1994, 23-year-old Shannon Wilsey, known professionally as Savannah, was out partying late into the night in a limousine with friends from the band House of Pain. The Texas native had risen to become the 19th ranked performer in AVN's all-time top 50. Around 2 a.m., she was driving her white Corvette erratically up a winding road in Universal City, California. Wilsey crashed the Corvette into a picket fence just 1 block from her home. The impact broke her nose and lacerated her face, causing significant facial disfigurement. She called her manager, Nancy Pera, hysterically describing the horrible accident, her broken, bleeding nose, and head injury. Pera dressed and drove to Wilsey's home, though she was not in a particular hurry, since late-night calls from Wilsey were common. When Pera arrived, Wilsey asked her to take the dog, a Rottweiler named Daisy, for a walk while she waited at home. During Pera's absence, Wilsey retrieved a 9mm handgun she kept under her pillow for protection against prowlers. She placed the weapon horizontally against her right temple and pulled the trigger. The bullet passed through her head into the garage wall, leaving a star-shaped exit wound. Pera returned from the dog walk to find Wilsey's body in a pool of blood. She later described the exit wound, saying it looked like a big flower on the side of her head. Paramedics transported Wilsey to St. Joseph's Medical Center in Burbank, where she was pronounced dead at 11:20 a.m. after a 9-hour coma. Police ruled the death self-inflicted, noting Wilsey faced severe IRS debt and had arranged desperate nude dancing gigs in New York. Real quick, if you find this informative, I cover stories like these regularly. Consider subscribing if you'd like to see more. Now, back to the video. Boyfriend in prison. On March 21, 1984, 20-year-old Colleen Applegate, performing as Shauna Grant, lay down on her bed in her Palm Springs, California home. The Minnesota native had fled to Los Angeles at age 18, initially homeless before quickly rising to stardom in the adult entertainment industry. She earned approximately $100,000 per year at her peak, but struggled with heroin addiction. Applegate's boyfriend, Jake Ehrlich, was a 44-year-old cocaine dealer, creating a 24-year age gap in their relationship. In February 1984, just 1 month before her death, Ehrlich was arrested on cocaine distribution charges and sentenced to 5 years in prison. The loss devastated Applegate, who was already battling addiction and health complications including herpes and the aftermath of an abortion. At 7 p.m. on March 21st, Applegate retrieved a .22 long rifle firearm. She placed the gun barrel horizontally against her right temple at close range and fired. The bullet passed through her head into the bedroom wall, leaving star-shaped exit wounds that indicated the extremely close range of the shot. She was discovered and rushed to Desert Hospital. On March 23rd, 2 days after the shooting, life support was disconnected and Applegate was pronounced dead. Her family buried her in a pink casket, her favorite color. PBS Frontline later produced Death of a Porn Queen, a 60-minute documentary examining her 2-year meteoric rise and tragic fall. Third BBL blood clot. In the weeks or months before August 2025, 24-year-old OnlyFans and social media creator Lena Bina underwent her third Brazilian butt lift surgery procedure. Known by the performance name Miss John Doe, Lena was originally from Houston, Texas, but lived in Polk County, Florida. She had built a following of over 195,000 across OnlyFans, Instagram, and TikTok. Following the surgery, Lena began the typical BBL aftercare and recovery process. Complications developed as a blood clot formed in her heart and neck area. On August 1, 2025, 4 days before her death, Lena posted her final message on X. "Sorry I've been ghost. I'm going through lot." The message suggested she knew something was wrong with her health. Despite any medical interventions, the blood clot caused fatal complications. On August 5, 2025, a family member found Lena dead at her Florida home. Her sister Moni confirmed to the public that, according to the family, the cause was blood clot complications in her heart and neck. Moni stated the blood clot was connected to Lena's third BBL procedure. News of her death spread through the adult entertainment community between August 6th and 8th. Her friend Coco Bliss announced the death via Instagram stories with tributes. Her cousin Miguel Santiago addressed followers about the tragedy, stating, "It's so tragic. It's so unbelievable. Keep your family close, 'cause you don't know when's the last time you're gonna see them." According to family statements, her sister Moni confirmed the cause of death was complications from a fatal blood clot in her heart and neck following her third Brazilian butt lift surgery, sparking renewed discussions about the dangers of BBL procedures, which carry significant risks, including fat embolisms that can be fatal. Halloween shotgun tragedy. On February 15th, 2024, 36-year-old Cagney Lynn Carter was found dead in her home in Parma, Ohio, a suburb near Cleveland. Carter had maintained a decades-long career in the adult entertainment industry and had recently been working to rebrand herself, pivoting toward mainstream social media presence and content creation. She appeared active and engaged with her fan following online. Carter had been posting regularly on social platforms in the days leading up to her death, showing no obvious signs of distress to her followers. She seemed to be doing well in her efforts to transition into mainstream content creation, building a new audience beyond her established fan base. Friends and fans later expressed shock that someone who appeared so engaged could be struggling internally. The discovery came in the evening hours, when either her landlord or family members found her body at her residence. The cause of death was determined to be a shotgun wound. Local police responded to the scene and conducted their investigation. After examining the circumstances and evidence, authorities classified the death as self-inflicted. The community expressed widespread shock, as Carter had seemed to be successfully reinventing her career and maintaining an active public presence right up until her death. Hydrocodone opioid death. On December 13th, 2017, 31-year-old Yurizan Beltran was found unconscious in her residence in Bellflower, California. The performer had been working in the adult entertainment industry for years and was well known within the community. When discovered that evening, she was unresponsive, and emergency services were immediately called to the scene. First responders attempted to revive Beltran and quickly transported her to a nearby hospital. Medical staff worked to stabilize her, but despite their efforts, she could not be saved. Toxicology results later confirmed the presence of hydrocodone, a prescription opioid painkiller, in her system at levels consistent with an overdose. The medical examiner ruled the cause of death as accidental. Beltran's death was notable not just as an individual tragedy, but as part of a disturbing pattern. She was one of 5 performers in the adult entertainment industry who died in 2017 alone. The cluster of deaths that year raised serious concerns about substance abuse and mental health issues affecting those working in the industry. Her death highlighted the broader opioid crisis impacting multiple industries and demographics across the United States. The classification as accidental reflected the determination that her death resulted from dependency and substance abuse rather than intentional self-harm. Las Vegas sepsis. On January 7, 2018, 20-year-old Lexi Rose Fort died at a hospital in Las Vegas, Nevada, from a completely preventable medical condition. Fort, who lived near Alta and Fort Apache in Las Vegas, had developed a urinary tract infection, a common and typically minor ailment that affects millions of people annually. However, she failed to seek treatment for the initial symptoms. The untreated infection progressed from her urinary tract into her kidneys, developing into pyelonephritis, a serious kidney infection. As the infection continued to spread unchecked through her body, it triggered sepsis, a life-threatening whole-body inflammatory response. Septic shock set in, causing her organs to begin failing as her blood pressure dropped to dangerous levels. By the time Fort received emergency medical attention and was transported to the hospital, the infection had progressed too far. Blood cultures confirmed the septic infection, and doctors began aggressive treatment with antibiotics and supportive care. Despite their efforts to save her, the septic shock proved too advanced. Her organs shut down, and she was pronounced dead on January 7th. Medical professionals noted that early antibiotic treatment at the initial urinary tract infection stage would have completely prevented the deadly progression, emphasizing the critical importance of seeking prompt medical care for infection symptoms. If this was informative, consider subscribing so you don't miss future content. Thanks for watching.